everybody, it's Thea. Welcome back to Garden Goddess Tarot. And got a haircut. I look different, but don't worry, it's still me. There's a video on it in the member space if you wanted to see. Little vlog, haircut day, very fun. As well as the most recent tarot roundups in there if you want to check it out. But today, it's been a little bit, but finally picked up a new deck and I wanted to open it up with you guys because why not? In a very informal, casual kind of way. If you're looking for a super in-depth analysis of the cards in this deck, this is not the video. This is just going to be a little first impressions. My experience going through the cards one by one just to kind of like see how I feel, testing out the vibe and all that kind of jazz. So let's get into it. This is the Mindscapes Tarot. It's a new tarot deck just released by Hay House. It was originally a majors only deck that was an indie deck. I believe there was a Kickstarter for it, and I remember being very interested in it back then, but I just couldn't bring myself to go in that hard for just a majors only, just because I don't use them that often. I really like having the full 78, the entire arcana of the tarot to really get, fleshed out readings. And like truly, if I wanted to, any deck can be a majors only. You just have to fish them out, but I never do that, and I know myself well enough to know that. So as beautiful as it was, I didn't jump on it then, which is fine. Decks come and go. There's so many coming out all the time. Like, permission to just let the feelings pass like a wave. And then, I was okay. However, the artist finished the deck, has made a complete 78 card deck. Actually, this is an 80. There's two extra ones in this. I'm curious to see what those are. So it includes the major arcana as well as the minor arcana. So it's kind of going to be a little bit of a surprise for me because I'm really not familiar with the minors. I remember looking at the majors when they originally created them, John A. Rice. But I'm not really super familiar with the minors, so I'm hoping they turn out lovely. So let me just read you the back of it, just to kind of get some framing context for what this deck is about. Mindscapes Tarot reimagines the tarot in the style of classic landscape paintings. It's very majestic earth, but illustrated. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be reading. I'm getting excited. Hand-drawn in oil pastel, each card opens a portal to a magical realm of forests, seas, mountains, and ancient cities, where the landscape changes as the seasons and years pass. More than a divination tool, this is an intuitive deck and guidebook filled with actionable advice, journal prompts, and affirmations, a catalyst for personal growth, source of creative solutions to life's challenges. Embrace the role of the intrepid explorer, navigating life's adventures with courage, curiosity, and above all, hope. That's what we're doing here. That's any tarot deck is a compass in a wide open sea of life, but I think this really just it focuses in on that fact of it, which I love that about tarot. Tarot is always about, for me, expanding my life's experience, using tarot in alongside the actions I choose to take and the adventures I go on and the way I live my life. So I think that's really fun. So $26.99 US, $35.99 Canadian. You know where you can get it less, especially from Hay House. Actually, I probably should have been smart and waited for the sale if this would be in it or not. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Was not sent to me also, by the way, I guess to be clear. Did make purchase myself. So let's see. Oh, the box is nice. It's like a rose petal, or at least matte box. I don't think I've had a deck like this from Hay House before. I'm bracing myself for Hay House cardstock, but maybe not. Because this deck, I feel like this one's so cool. Okay. Inside the box, it says, prepare to embark, and there's a sea with a rainbow going into it. Also, the cover, very cavernous, expansive, mountain, sky, water, and a star. So you get all the elements there, which is beautiful. I love an image that really, you get the sense of all four elements in it, from an earthly space. Chunky little book, which is nice. Oh, and there's a rune for each of them. I don't work with runes. I have a set. I've only ever bought one set, but they're not my favorite. I don't want to say I find them limiting, but oh, hold on. Ooh. Okay, there's runes for some of them. Maybe they're just symbols. Okay, they're just symbols. I got excited. It's not a rune. Never mind. It looked like Tiwaz, but it's not. Interesting. Maybe, yeah, those are just the element images. We'll figure that out later. A little intro talking about the artist's experience making the deck. talks about COVID, which I think will get dated eventually, but that's okay. I love the name of it too, Mindscapes. It really just, that is tarot. It is a mindscape. It gives like if your internal, like your inner temple or your mind palace was a landscape, you know? There are there's sigils, which are on each card, which is very cool. We got an astrological ruler, signature, and shorthand sigil on each of the cards, which it talks about. So I think this will be fun. I really do. Anyway, whatever. Not a review. I'm just opening. It's taking me a long time. Okay, and then here's the bottom of the box. And that's stunning. Sorry, the light here is not ideal. Yeah. Beautiful. Oh, I like that. For a multitude of reasons. I'm kind of obsessed with that, actually. Doesn't that look like a port? On a little island somewhere? With the sun coming up over the mountains? Guys. I didn't know that was in there. Okay. This might be really good. Alright, let's open her up. Enough fannying about, as I've been saying a lot lately. My grandmother always used to say that to me. Stop fannying about. Get going. Alright, so cardstock is the matte Hay House cardstock, which I feel like it's a little bit thicker than the Lightseers, but it could just be, I don't know, it doesn't feel super good. It doesn't feel like it's going to hold up forever, which is annoying because it's going to make me want to back up. But I do like that it's matte. It's a papery matte as opposed to like a luxurious matte, if that makes any sense. The deck backs though are beautiful. I've got to think about the color like navy blue as well. so that makes me quite happy. Okay, let's get into the cards. Fool. Very cute. Magician as well. I feel like this is a really intuitive type of deck. This deck is certainly going to let your mind relax a bit and explore its, inner corners. Yeah, and the High Priestess is adorable and cute. I do like that. It feels, it's just funny. It's adorable and cute. It's less weighty than a lot of other High Priestesses. There's an innocence here that the High Priestess usually doesn't have within her. It is someone peeking behind the veil, and I guess in this case the High Priestess would be hidden behind the veil, but they've got you there kind of as the seeker and the fool, like doing the action, which is very interesting. I love how the moon's on the card too. And it is kind of like a fortune teller's tent. So anyway, lots to read into in the cards, which is the idea. Oh, these are beautiful. The Empress, super cute. You feel the elemental energy of that. You can feel how green and lush and verdant and get lost in that Empress card. You find comfort, like a primal comfort in that image of the Empress card. But there is evidence of humanity within it as well. Just like little nods, that tiny. I guess it looks a little bit like a ruin, but it's also a greenhouse amidst the space. It's interesting that our Venus sigil has a chunk taken out of it there. Could be an artistic choice. Okay, the Emperor. And you know what's kind of nice about these sigils? I think they can be subtly used if you need them to write them places, and they're not really obvious, which is nice. The Emperor being like a wall, a seawall. I like that also. Like structure and protection, boundaries, but also boundaries for good. Boundaries for, out of love, for preservation, that sort of thing. I think this is gonna read really, really well. The Hierophant here. I love the addition of the smoke from the teepee. Sacred knowledge. The earthly path across the abyss. Yeah, no, always a good one. Oh, the Lovers, this is so pretty too. Bit more of a romantic vibe in that card. There's lots of little details, very subtle. I can't wait to get into the guidebook. But again, it just feels really intuitive. Like the kind of readings that I feel like you're going to get with this deck they're not like, they don't hit you in the face really quickly. They're not super obvious. They kind of set up the atmosphere, the setting, the landscape of the situation for you in a reading. So here's the Chariot, which is ooh, that one's cool. You can see the two different currents of water. within the stream. Movement. But watery movement because it's a Cancer card. Like the natural flow of things. Perfect. Unique. Different. I have not seen a Chariot card like that before. Strength. The mountain really fills this card for me. Like the presence, the quiet yet giant presence of the lion, the mountain is there. And then there's some horses being broken in a paddock. I think there's a lot in that one. Hermit, obviously, is going to be perfect. A little hermitage. Solitude and isolation. God, I love that card. Such a Virgo-y Leo also. You know, you ever think, sorry, there's another tangent, it's astrology related. Depending on what time of the month you are born, you could be closer to one sign than the other. So I always kind of like, especially if I know someone really well, I'll pay attention to which end of the zodiacal season they'll land on. So whether you're going to be like a Cancer-y Leo or you're going to be like a Virgo-y Leo, it changes things a little bit, but anyway, it's fun. Another fun layer to think about if you want to go really deep. Here's the Wheel of Fortune, which is quite beautiful. The spider and the spider web is interesting. I guess with like the wheel, and then we get like Web of Time and how everything is kind of connected in a cycle. I don't know, there's lots to think about in that one. My brain is immediately going to like being caught and being stuck in our like cycle. Not like a karmic cycle, but you know, like caught in time. We're stuck where we are right now. The present moment. Hi, welcome to the present moment. Every so often I get hit with that, like, bam, you're living right now in the present. And it like whacks me in the face when I'm not expecting it. And I'm like, oh yes, welcome to the present moment, everybody. Hope we all have that little existential realization and then we'll move on. All right, justice. Justice is perfect. Of course it is. Look at it. Looks kind of like the Parthenon. I don't think it's exactly that on the Acropolis, but you get the idea. And justice being a man-made construct. Like there's all of these other ones have a great deal of the natural world in them, whereas this is very much a result of what humans have built, which is cool. Like that. I got that one this morning in a different deck, but it was an ancestor reading, which actually was really good. I don't do them very often. It's usually when I feel called to talk to my grandma or something, get some advice from the ladies that cameth before me, and it was good. It was good for someone who doesn't do ancestor readings all that often. It was great. The Hanged one. So we're genderless in this case, which is fine. And I do, but also. It's missing. Okay, so you get the whole like the stuckness of it. The polar bear being kind of isolated on an ice floe there, but polar bears do swim quite well. But they don't dive, and I feel like an important aspect of the Hanged Man is the insights one gets from the stasis you're kind of stuck in. I've had a lot of time to think about the Hanged Man this year. I think it's one of my cards of the year. I'll have to read the guidebook on that one and see what they have to say about it. I'm not immediately like obsessed with it. There's death. A little modern touch is just like an echo of what has once been. It's a quiet death. Death in a passive state as opposed to an active state. Death versus dying, you know. Death happens after. Dying is an action. So anyway, quite interesting there. Hope you can see that. Camera's being funny. Temperance is good. I would expect nothing less out of a landscapey temperance deck with a volcano flowing into cool water and steam, alchemizing it into rock. Like that's perfect. That is amazing. The Devil card is a bustling downtown scene. I do appreciate the artistic style of the reflections in the road, in the water. It's harsh. It is overstimulating. I can hear this card. This card makes noise in my brain for me. The Tower. I love the Tower card. I do wish there was more creativity in the depiction of it sometimes. This is beautiful. Obviously, lightning hitting a tower, it's falling. People are running. In this case, they're not falling from the tower. They're on the ground, kind of escaping already, but, you know. It's a tower card. It's a good, perfectly functional. Will do wonders in reading, but it's just, it's not, you know, it's not inspired or inspiring, you know. But the star, so this is the cover of the box, is the star card, and I already told you how beautiful I think this one is. Yeah. And the moon! Pisces. Yeah. There's a little wolf howling at it. We just have a wolf, though. There's no dog hanging out. Which is fine, but she's there. Being gorgeous. The sun. The sun is goals. That's what I wish my garden looked like, to be honest. Stunning, though. It's a couple of youth pulling a kite through the sunflower fields. Perfect. Beautiful. Love it. Judgment. Okay. Interesting. This one, it's a bit of a crypt situation. Crypt's not the right word. Mausoleum's not the right word. What is the right word for the, like, above ground? Is it mausoleum? It might be mausoleum. I'll have to look it up. Interesting. And then there's, like, festival lights all over it, which might be referencing something specific. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that one as well. And the world. Love it. 4 elements present as well. Oh, are we? Do we have water? We have sun. We have air. We have earth. There might be, yeah, there's a little trickle of water falling from the mountain as well. So we've got our 4 elements, which would otherwise be our 4 dudes in the corner, which is nice that that's all incorporated intentionally. There's a little town there in the middle, which actually looks an awful lot like Temple at Delphi. It's kind of scribbly. I don't know if you can see. This guy right here. The Temple of Apollo at Delphi, I believe. With the 3 remaining, like the ruins. That's what the ruins look like right now. And then there is kind of a temple on the hill, which isn't, that's not quite accurate. That's not what Delphi looks like, but it's kind of. I guess that's the vibe it's going for. Very beautiful. Very cool. So those are the majors, which I think I had seen in the past and had liked. So now we are getting into, oh, this is a bonus card. Sorry. There's 2 bonus cards. We'll do those before we move on. So this is the catacomb, which catacomb is an underground, like a crypt, but it tends to be filled with human bone remains. I've always wanted to go to the ones in Paris, which I only had 9 hours there when I was there, so I did not have time to go and see them. But underneath Paris, there's an extensive, like, labyrinth of catacombs with a multitude of human remains, and I think that's quite cool. Will I leave that in? How's that gonna read? It's it's planetary association is Chiron, which is actually kind of helpful. Maybe I will leave that one in. And the other bonus one, card number 23, great number by the way, is the Great Work, and we have the node as its planetary or astrological association. And that's beautiful. I just the image alone, I have to keep it in the deck because it's the one that's in the bottom of the box. That's what that is. Which we've got a harbor, a town, cozied in by some sloping mountains, and then the sun rising over the edge. So that's stunning and beautiful. Okay, those I'll leave them in for now. I can always take them out later. But yeah, those are the major arcana and the bonus cards, and I think that's quite cool. Let's get into the minors and see what they look like. Okay, so I believe the wands in this case are called branches, and I don't know if you can tell, there's a subtle color difference in the border with each of the cards. So there's a tinge of green for what appears to be the wands. The tides would be cups. There's a tinge of blue. The spires is going to be the swords, and it's a tinge of gray, and then stones is a lighter gray, I guess. But they do make a cute little rainbow. I guess, did the majors have a color? Oh, they were all different too. Ooh, I didn't notice that. Sorry, we're going back. The majors all have, these don't fan the greatest because they're matte. But each element, whatever element that card is, the edges would be that color. They do make a nice little rainbow there. Cool. All right. Sorry. Tangent. Ace of Branches. Almost Pippi. But environmental. Soft Scenic. Yes, this is another example of a soft scenic deck. Perfect. Yeah. It's not quite a pip, because they're not pips. There's a scene, but it doesn't divulge a lot of the tarot meaning. A little bit of it, just a wee bit. Like in this case, the Three of Branches, they're in the process of staking these trees. There's a progression. And then that one has grown a little bit more. Sorry, I'm getting excited. And this one, he's just a baby. So, like, it's a beautiful progression of energy, which I think is quite cool. And in this one with the three, they're like shored up a little bit. Things are a bit more solid. Things are happening. It's become like an orchard. And in the four, they've grown into trees. Fruit's being harvested already. So there's the first harvest is that one, which makes sense for the four. The Five of Wands, we have strife a little bit. There's some... Yeah, one of them's dead. Wow. And then in the six, a little wreath on them. Success. Seven, there's a forest fire. Eight of Branches, we have a renewed scent. Hold on, I'm assuming these are wands. It has to be. Eight, we have some new growth. I don't know if you can see super well. Lots of little baby trees coming up after the destruction of the seven. Seven being my birth card. It's a bit spicy for the seven. It is a fire card, obviously. Mars and Leo. It's gonna be, you've got that Mars energy mixed with the acceleration and determination of Leo is there. And then the quickening growth of the freshly fertilized soil after in the eight. The nine, kind of hanging on through a cold winter. And then the 10, which would be our oppression, is the light. The trees are so dense now. They've grown back fuller and stronger than ever. And the light's having a hard time getting through because it's so dense and packed together. So it's a good 10 of Wands as well. Interesting. So this one, okay. I'm not thinking this is going to be a super easy reader. It's going to like make you think a little bit deeper. It adds another layer to kind of think your way through from what I'm gathering. Page of Branches, Page of Wands. Very interesting. I feel like is it up in a treehouse and you're looking down? Or are you like coming out of a mine? I think it's in a tree. Yeah, that's my guess. You're in a treehouse and you're looking down. Very cool. The youthful energy of the pages in that case. Bit of whimsy and adventure. Not quite like, I like to go a step further with the level of like freewheeling, like lust for life in the Page of Wands a little bit, but that's fun too. I do. It's not bad at all. Knight of Branches, Knight of Wands. We have a campfire. You're kind of inside a tent. The perspective on these is really interesting. Looking at a campfire. Queen. Okay, these are all you're in something and looking out. This is really quite cool. Queen of Wands. You're in. It's almost like a garden shed, but there's like canning supplies there. You've made a bunch of pickles and pickled beets and pickled olives. I guess we wouldn't be pickling olives in a forest, but it's kind of a greenhouse. There's plants growing in the windows. Little shed in the woods. Anyway. And then the King of Branches is you're inside a mill and there's a water wheel. It's very interesting. These do set such a tone and they shove you right into them. I don't know, it gives you the ability to explore the card. The path working potential in these is really quite good. So those are the branches. And we have the tides. I love the spark of light over the water and the way it sparkles. That's such a moment, such a mood. Two of tides. Sun's come up a little bit further. I think we're going to progress through the day as opposed to the season with this. This is really quite cool. So the sun has broken. We have a half crescent shape coming up over the water. Burst of red. Three of tides. We have a set of dolphins. Early morning. Maybe midday. Four of tides. Hold on. I gotta make sure these are right elements. Because if tides is not cups or water, I'm gonna lose my mind. Yes, okay, branches are fire. They're wands. I'm right. Tides is water. I am also correct. Just making sure. I wouldn't want to be wrong. Spires is air, which means stones is earth. Okay. So the Four of Cups is this one. We're at twilight now as well, what I'm gathering. So we're kind of jumping around time-wise. We've got 4 stars in the sky as well. And I want to know what the book says on this one. 5 of Cups, or 5 of Tides. We've got a bit of rough waters. You do get the feeling of a lot of these. A lot of these, like, it's not... They are soft scenic. There isn't a lot of indication as to which, like, traditional tarot card they're talking about. Here in the 6, we've got a boat, but there are boats in a lot of other ones. There's also 2, but you can see the wind and the way it's moving a little bit more, but it's not, like, super obvious, unless you kind of already know. Yeah, and here's the 7 of Tides. You've got 7 stars, I'm imagining, in the sky, but... And you're kind of being led by the moon. You're navigating by the stars and the moon. Which is that little 7 of Cupsy? Oh, fun to think about, though. But yeah, they're not... The minors are not super intuitive for me, immediately offhand. But yeah, a little extra layer of thinking. Of depth to them. Okay, 8 of Cups here. Got some lightning. The water's moving in one way or other, a bit rough. And it looks like a moon. Could be a sun covered by a cloud. The yellow is interesting. But it's almost like you gotta kind of choose to go towards the calmer seas. Yeah, I got another one I'd love to read the book about. 9 of Cups, though. That one's lovely. Calm again. Clear focus as to where you're headed. And the 10, which is the inside of the other one, which says prepare to embark. But the 10 of Cups, you've already embarked. You've made your choices, and you're content. But the rainbow is lovely. The flock of birds, which I'm imagining there should be 10 of. Which in a way, like, nods back to the whole family aspect. That, like, you instead of seeing the waving family in the Rider-Waite-Smith, you've got a flock of birds, which are their own, whether biological or chosen family as well. Working together, getting somewhere, making progress, doing what's best for everybody. That works. Okay, the page. Beautiful grotto. Is there fish? No, there's a little sandcastle though, that's cute. Evidence of human presence there. The night, you're on the boat, we're active, we are taking action, we're going places. Music is playing in my head as I look at this card. The Queen of Tides, we have what I'm assuming is a lighthouse after looking at it for 2 seconds. Guiding light, Queen of Cups, reassurance in the dark, a beacon of hope and safety and arrival. You know what this... I'm sorry, I just had another random idea. I feel like this, just the art style of this would pair really well with the Fantasy Garden Tarot, which is the one that's drawn entirely in pen. Has the same kind of vibe. I think they'd go really well. King of Tides. A bit more structure again. King of Cups. A little bit of... Not quite ruin, but the perspective on this one is that you've got a vantage point where you can look out over what you've built as well as the sea, which represents transportation, possibilities, freedom, and aspiration. Which is quite cool. And we're on to the Spires, which is the swords. Or the air suit, I guess. Let's get swords out of your mind, because I feel like we're really embracing the elemental aspects of the suits. So yeah, very airy. The two of swords, we have our choice, our decision. We have a path diverging around a mountain. Once you make that choice, it's very difficult to go back. The 3, so we have 3 mountains in this one. 3 of Spires. The bridge is broken. What do you do? Interesting take on the 3 there. Again, that's you've learned something which has kind of made your life quite difficult, and you need to recalibrate. Because 5 of Cups is disappointment, like emotionally, but when you've like the information gets presented to you, when you discover something, the act of learning. In that case, you've learned, you've seen with your eyes that the bridge is broken, and that understanding has, messed up your plans a little bit. The 4 of Spires, the 4 of Swords, 4 mountains, calm, misty. 5 is defeat. The harsh winter weather in this case. Would not want to climb those mountains today. The 6, however, 6 of Swords, we have rope bridges running through them, so they're more passable. They're accommodating. They have what you need to get through. 7 of Swords. Again, we have darkness, we have shrouded, we have mystery. We have you're unsure whether or not these ones can be passed through, what they'll be like. I'm curious to get into the book on that one, though, also. The 8 of Swords. Interesting. They are very simple. Like, each suit being like, that one there was a single grove of trees, and then we had, kind of a single vantage point over the water, and here we have mountains in various forms, but they're delicate. 9 of Swords here. Interesting. I'm trying to ask myself, does this feel like 9 of Swords to me? Because we have that light at the top, which isn't, I find that not super, like, this card doesn't give me that tense feeling that the 9 generally does. The red is a good touch. I'm glad that the red's there. There could be more red, I think. It bleeds into purple, which is giving me more connection and comfort than I would expect out of a 9 of Swords. But it is beautiful. But I think more aggressive imagery might have been in a place for this one. Maybe it's a fire on top, but it does feel like it should, like, it looks almost like, star, hope, somewhere guiding you, but like, I want to feel more like I don't want to go that way instead of being drawn towards it. And the 10 is some old, crusty, rocky mountains with no life, which makes sense. That one's good. Okay, Page of Spires. We have a hot air balloon, good choice, for curiosity and exploration via air. The Knight, another human interaction. I believe that is a cockpit of something. Airplane, blimp, or what have you. Could be an airplane. Probably an airplane. You're a pilot. The Queen. Oh, okay, beautiful. This one's neat. You're in a nest. Like in an eagle's nest, which is very mother. Guarding over your nest in the sky. That works for Queen. The King is kind of like a base camp while hiking said mountain. One of the adventures on Everest. Kind of, we've got that conquering energy. Okay, now we're into the stones, our last suit. And this one is kind of cool how it's done, I think. From what I'm guessing by just quickly having a boo. So Ace of Stones, we start with a very primitive settlement, a very gentle, we've just arrived. The potential for a burgeoning future is there, but so far we just have a little hut hanging out. And then in the 2, a few more people arrive. So again, we're not really thinking about the Rider-Waite-Smith in this. It's more of the progression of the element within its own story, because there's a few more. There's not just 2 buildings. There's a couple, and it's not really about like juggling priorities or I guess it's change in a progress kind of way, but not in a direct way. I don't think there's anything in this that differentiates it as a Capricorn card as opposed to any of the other 2 or the other ones in this suit specifically. And And I've also noted the astrological associations are not on the minors. They're just on the majors in the deck as well. So, and our 3, you know, same view, same vantage point. Buildings are still there. They've just been built upon a little bit. So we have a tower now built, a 3 of Pentacles. I guess when you think of the Rider-Waite-Smith, they're kind of like in working together, building what appears to be a church. So in this case, this can be a symbol of that church that they built together. So I guess kind of, it's a stretch. It's a little bit of thinking, but there's like this holy building that reaches for the sky, together as a symbol of the cooperation between humans. A man alone could not have done that. A woman alone could not have done that. A person alone could not have done that. But it takes a variety of skills to come together to achieve something like that. And in the 4, the settlement now has a wall around it, which, if you can imagine the Thoth card, looking at this setting from a aerial view, could easily be the power card in the Thoth deck, so I like that. But yeah, just some protection. Oh, just keeping your resources under lock and key, guarded. And then in our 5, there's a bit of some sort of something has knocked us back down again, whether it's like a sandstorm or some kind of divine force that has come through and wreaked havoc. Very worry. Come through. And the 6, we are rebuilding. 6 of Pentacles. You're on your feet again. You know, your resources are back. They're growing. You're in a stable position materially. You can make changes, you can make choices, you can be in a place where you can allow things to come to you and progress, air quotes, to happen. It's quite cool. The 7, though, we're under the fall of night. The scaffolding is still up. There is a mysterious mist run through town still, though, which is interesting. Success unfulfilled. I guess it's just that they haven't finished yet. We're still working on it. The 7 is a reevaluation in the material department. So, has the build gone as planned? Are things shaping up the way you expect them to? It's an opportunity to reflect on where you're at materially. How a project is going. How the thing that you're intending to do, your will that you are trying to aim your life towards. How is it shaping up right now? And then the 8 of Pentacles, which is craftsmanship, perseverance. We have great strides taken in the build of this little town. Very beautiful. Lots of intricate detail. Lots of, artisanal stonemasons doing wonderful, beautiful things. And then the 9, on the basis of that craftsmanship, we now have adornment. So if you have adornment without a basic, stable foundation, it usually doesn't hit the same. It doesn't land the same. But to have that 8 of Pentacles first, that 8 of Pentacles moment of expertise and craftsmanship, and then going in with an artistic flair, with adornments, with the physical expression of the respect for that place, is the 9 of Stones. Very beautiful. And our 10! Oh my goodness. Okay, are you ready for the 10? Not what I was expecting. And the 10, it all turns to dust. Isn't that neat? I was expecting an extra step, but no. The next step is the completion of a cycle, that everything falls away. Everything melts in the hands of time, and even the greatest civilizations do fall. I think that's a great spot to land on the 10. When you think of legacy, a lot of the times the 10 of Stones, 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Discs gives us that that strong physical legacy, families that go on for years with, generational wealth just kind of accumulating like a snowball rolling down a hill. But in this case, it's withered, it's fallen away. I think that's really important, an important perspective to consider in the 10, which I've never really thought about before. That's really cool. I like that. I want to go digging. It makes me want to go digging. Okay, and our court cards. We have the Page of Stones. We have someone learning the art of architecture. Again, the perspective on these core cards is really quite cool. I like these. I think they're going to be fun when they come up in a reading. I like how the whole deck isn't like this, though. I like how the minors, they've got their own, they tell their own little story. There's that cute little progression through the elements. And then when you hit the quartz, it thrusts you in. It makes you feel like a character, a person. It puts you actively in the story that way. And then the majors are a different snippet of an idealized landscape, which is quite cool. Knight of Stones. You're a farmer. Of course you're a farmer. Oh, sorry, this is my court card birth card. You gotta put the work in. You gotta do the work. You want results, you gotta do the work. Slow and steady, baby. Queen of Stones, though. We love a Queen of Stones. Look at that. Look at that rug, guys. Ooh. Love a rug. This is beautiful. I'm loving the vibe of the art of this deck. I think they're going to look really good shuffled together. I like how... Sorry, let me show the king before we get to my ideas. It's just barfing my thoughts all over you before we finish. King of Stones. Again, a vantage point. I think all of the kings in this, you're up high. You're on a mountain. You're at the highest tower overlooking the sea. And in this case, you're overlooking your kingdom, or... maybe you're just a rich man overlooking the town that you built or whatever. And then what was the other one? Is he up high? Kind of. He's in that little forest building in the mill overlooking the spinny wheel. So, yes, kings, you've got responsibilities. You've got power, but with power comes responsibility. There's something that you are now in charge of, you look after, etc., etc. Very cool. And I think it's good. It's very easy to place anyone in any of these cards. There's no feeling of being excluded, that this card doesn't pertain to me. Like, I can relate to the energy of each of these cards, and I'm pretty sure most people in theory could, without feeling ostracized in any way whatsoever. So that's really quite cool. Yeah. Oh, this is fun. I have thoughts. I will say, like, some of the cards aren't super intuitive. I think once I get my head around the minors specifically, and how they do almost like that Marseille progression through the ace through 10 in their own little story. I'm really curious to see how they look together in a spread too, just like how distinctly elemental they are, instead of just seeing them next to their own little families while just doing the flip through when they're in order. It's beautiful. It's really well thought out. I love the attention to detail in the art. A hand-drawn deck in the year of our Lord 2025 is always a treasure. I assure you not a stitch of AI was used in the creation of the art of this deck. So thank you, John Rice, for making it. I appreciate the work that went into it. That is always so much love to artists who make art for tarot decks. It's so much fun and really just adds to the excitement and the sheer pleasure of playing with different decks. I think this is one for the books. This is fun. I'm here for it. So yes, lots of deep thoughts initially. I'll have to get back to you once I use it in an actual reading, which I haven't yet. Obviously, you just saw me take the plastic off. We're in it. It is very much a mind palace, but the palace itself is a whole landscape. It's a whole world that will be so much fun to explore and path work. I think this is going to be great for if you are a person who likes to meditate and you like to have a little image or something to or a spread to jump off of, jump into, to latch onto in the process of letting your mind kind of explore and go the places it's going to go, which, quiet the mind. Let's give the mind something to play with and see what it does. I think this deck is really quite cool and good for that. I really do. And I'm just totally there's little things that are showing me this is important for me as well. So I don't know, really quite cool. I'm glad. I waited for this one for a long time. I'm happy. I'm happy it's here. Shuffle wise, we want to get back. I think it's gonna be a bitch to shuffle. The cards are thick, and they're gonna be easily bent in an unfortunate way. And it does not feel like it's going to hold up, and that's just because it's on the cheap Hay House cardstock. That's all I can say. So That's one thing. If I could change anything, it would be the cardstock it's printed on, but I think it's beautiful and looks really cool, and I appreciate what's on it, and that's always more important to me than how it feels physically. But if you're the kind of person that gets really hung up on the like functional, tactile usability of a deck, I would caution you for this one, I guess. But anywho. Okay, that's gonna be it for me today. I'll pull some cards later. I will catch up with you later. Next tarot roundup, we'll talk about it. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And I will see all of you fine people in my next video. Ciao!